Plant defenses against herbivore attack. Scientists once considered plants to be very passive. However, that view has changed, particularly within the last couple of decades. Instead of being passive, we now recognize that plants respond to their surroundings and alter their behavior and activities as situations change. Over millions of years, plants have evolved to have various direct and indirect mechanisms of defending themselves against herbivores. Direct defense includes chemical defenses and physical defenses such as tissue toughness, thorns, and barbs. Chemical defenses against herbivores are numerous and diverse. Direct chemical defense can be toxic or deterrent to herbivores or reduce nutrient value of the plant tissue. Some chemical defenses act indirectly, such as attracting wasps that are parasitic to herbivores. Besides chemical defenses, plants also have physical, structural defenses to protect themselves from herbivores. Depending on the herbivore's physical characteristics, size, and defensive armor, plant structural defenses on the stems and leaves can deter, injure, or kill the grazer. Some defensive compounds are produced internally but are released onto the plant surface. For instance, the leaves of hollow plants are very smooth and slippery, making feeding on them difficult. Some plants produce gummosis or sap that traps insects. Also, a plant's leaves and stems may be covered with sharp prickles, spines, thorns, or trichomes, hairs on the leaves often with barbs, sometimes containing irritants or poisons. Structural features like spines and thorns reduce feeding by large ungulate herbivores by restricting the herbivore's feeding rate, or by wearing down the molars. Raphides are sharp needles of calcium oxalate or calcium carbonate in plant tissue, making ingestion painful, damaging a herbivore's mouth and gullet, and causing more efficient delivery of the plant's toxins. The structure of a plant, its branches, and leaf arrangement may also reduce herbivore impact. African acacias have long spines low in the canopy, but very short spines high in the canopy, which is comparatively safe from herbivores such as giraffes. Still, some plants mimic the presence of insect eggs on their leaves, dissuading insect species from laying their eggs there, because female butterflies are less likely to lay their eggs on plants that already have butterfly eggs. The evolution of chemical defenses in plants is linked to the emergence of chemical substances that are not involved in the essential photosynthetic and metabolic activities. These substances, secondary metabolites, are organic compounds that are not directly involved in the normal growth, development, or reproduction of organisms, and often produced as byproducts during the synthesis of primary metabolic products. Secondary metabolites are often characterized as either qualitative or quantitative. Qualitative metabolites are defined as toxins that interfere with a herbivore's metabolism, often killing the enemy by blocking its specific biochemical reactions. Qualitative chemicals are present in plants in relatively low concentrations and are not dosage dependent. They are usually effective against non-adapted herbivores. Qualitative chemicals are those that are present in high concentration in plants. Most quantitative metabolites are digestibility reducers that make plant cell walls indigestible to animals. The effects of quantitative metabolites are dosage dependent, and the higher these chemicals proportion in the herbivore's diet, the less nutrition the herbivore can gain from ingesting plant tissues. The geranium, for example, produces a unique chemical compound in its petals to defend itself from Japanese beetle. Within 30 minutes of ingestion, the chemical paralyzes the herbivore. While the chemical usually wears off within a few hours, during this time, the beetle is often consumed by its own predators. Another category of plant defenses is those features that indirectly protect the plant by enhancing the probability of attracting the natural enemies of herbivores. One such feature, isamiochemicals, which are a group of volatile organic compounds given off by a plant. When a plant is attacked, it releases semiochemicals containing an abnormal ratio of volatiles. Predators sensing these volatiles are attracted to the damaged plant and to feeding herbivores. Some plants also provide housing and food items for natural enemies of herbivores, known as biotic defense mechanisms, as a means to maintain their presence. For example, trees from the genus Macrorhyncha have adapted their thin stem walls to create ideal housing for an ant species, which, in turn, protects the plant from herbivores, as well as receiving food produced from plant.